You're listening to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and here we discuss topics on personal fitness, well-being, and elevation of mind and body. Join us as we help build and grow a community of real, elevated men and women. If you're currently feeling frustrated, flat, and fed up with life, or want to be a physically and mentally elevated individual, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Elevation podcast. Welcome to the RE family and get ready to elevate your mind and body. Welcome to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and today we have another outstanding, informative, and elevating show for you. I'd like to welcome all first-time listeners to the podcast. And be sure to stay to the end where I'll be sharing all my social media links where you can connect with me and the Real Elevation community as we continue to grow and develop our connections and our time together. How are we doing? I hope you are well wherever you are in the world, keeping well, keeping warm. I know here in the UK, over the last week or two, we've been having a real cold snap, so I hope you are keeping warm wherever you are. So we have another fantastic episode for you today, and it's a topic that we've spoken about before, and for many of our listeners it's something that we'd like to revisit again because it's a popular topic. Now, if you're over the age of 45, going to your 50s or even older, you've likely felt the mounting pressures of life. That's just the way it is. We live in a ever-evolving world, and some would argue over the last 3 to 5 years the world has changed more rapidly and more crazily than ever before. Work, family responsibilities, commitments to be and show up as your best can create certain stresses and health concerns, and we can see these things creeping in. But here's the thing when it comes to stress that you have to really remember. It doesn't just make you feel overwhelmed. If it's not dealt with, it can be a silent saboteur. It can speed up aging process. It can disrupt things such as sleep and can even lead to certain chronic conditions, things including high blood pressure, heart disease, and many more. So today we're going to be talking about stress less, live more. 3 top strategies for you to slow aging and boost well-being. So stress less, live more. 3 strategies for you to slow aging and boost your well-being. So here's the thing to remember when it comes to managing stress effectively. You're not just surviving, you're actively investing in your well-being, your health and longevity. You're almost like you're telling your body that I'm here to thrive, not just survive. When we're in that constant state of stress, we're almost in that survival mode all the time. So today we're going to be exploring 3 actionable ways that you can reduce stress, start to build a good foundation of well-being, feel more in control, feel more calmer, feel stronger, and feel better about yourself. So let's get started. So the first one is to prioritize restorative sleep. Now, sleep is one of, in my opinion, one of the most underrated and overlooked pillars when it comes to stress management. On the Real Rejuvenation program and the core build system that I coach my clients through, those coaching programs, one of the key pillars that we talk about, one of the foundational principles, is about rest and rejuvenation. And sleep forms part of resting and rejuvenating and restoring. We know as we get older, our body's ability to recover from stresses and pressures of life can diminish. So that can impact on areas such as having poor sleep quality. So the problem is key to make sure that you are not depriving yourself of good quality sleep and that you're making sure that you're getting good quality sleep. Because when you do have poor sleep, it can increase that stress hormone cortisol, and having too much cortisol can lead to that vicious cycle where you're feeling stressed and exhausted, You go into bed feeling stressed and exhausted. You're waking up feeling stressed and exhausted, and you're just going through this ever diminishing cycle. So here's what you can do to help improve your sleep and making sure that you get restorative sleep on a night. First thing you can do is establish a consistent sleep routine. So go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even if it's on weekends. Now, you might ask yourself questions, well, I like to have my lines on the weekends. But when we get into this consistency, it trains the body to internal clock, which is great in terms of managing our hormone levels effectively. So ideally, we want to be going to bed no later than 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I know that might sound a little bit early. And we want to be waking up with the sun, following the natural rhythms of nature, ideally. Now, again, not a lot of us do that, but it's something that you really need to consider in terms of getting a consistent routine when it comes to your bedtime and wake-up time. It's going to be different for everybody. You need to explore what works right for you. But if you're one of these people who are going to bed after midnight and waking up, or struggling to wake up because you've not had a good night's quality sleep, well, it's something that you need to really consider and think about. Number two, second thing you can do is create a sleep sanctuary. So look at your bedroom or your sleeping environment. What's it like at the moment? Is it cool? Is it dark? Is it quiet? Are the pillows or the bed that you're sleeping on comfortable? All these things that you might take for granted, they do impact on the quality of sleep that you're getting. So think about the environment, your bedroom that you're sleeping in. Is there any way that you can improve it? Can you make it a little bit more cooler? Can you make the sleeping environment, your bed, your pillows, whatever it is, a little bit more comfortable? They will all help you go off to bed and sleep more deeply, more soundly, but also help you to relax as well. All signals to the body that you're getting a good night's sleep. Again, it's a difficult one that I often find a bit of a battle with the clients, and I'll put my hand up and say I'm not perfect on this, but limiting the amount of screen time you have before you go to bed. Now, you've heard me say this many times before, and it's well documented. There are lots of studies out there about when we're going to bed, the effects of having blue light or screen light before impact on our quality of sleep. So if we can avoid it at least an hour before bedtime, that will be doing a major step forward into improving our night's sleep. We know that blue light disrupts your natural production of melatonin, which is a sleep hormone. We just spoke about cortisol, how we want to reduce that. We also want to be proactive in producing melatonin, and reducing the amount of blue light or screen light will help us to do that. And the fourth thing you can think about doing is introducing some sort of wind down routine. So for me, I like to go upstairs, read a book, sometimes I journal. That all helps me to signal to my body it's time to go to sleep. So maybe you could introduce something very similar. It could be doing some meditation, could be doing some light stretching or mobility exercises. Just signaling to your body, calming your mind down, is just a way of telling and communicating to your system, I'm going to rest, I'm going to have a sound night's sleep. So there are 4 things that you can do to make sure you're prioritizing restorative sleep. And by introducing those, you're going to wake up feeling more refreshed. You're going to wake up feeling less stressed. You're going to wake up feeling more in control, more calm, more confident about the day ahead. Okay, remember, sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. So try moving forward, making sure you're doing your best to prioritize restorative sleep. Number 2, engage in mindful movement. So the second tip I'm talking to you about today is all about mindful movement. So when we think of exercise, many of us, and that's partly down to the industry and what we like to show and what we like to have as an image in terms of being fit, healthy and well, is all about these intense and hard and demanding workouts. But for stress reduction, the focus should be on low impact, restorative exercises that, if you think about it, connecting your mind and body. So when you're doing those hard, intense exercises, obviously you're in the moment, but obviously they're having a different effect physically and mentally on the body. We want to try the opposite of that, exercises that may be less intense and focus on really connecting the mind and the body in a different way. So we're talking about things such as yoga. One of the first things that I would direct my clients to when I see that they're stressed after we've completed a lifestyle assessment and we can see that they've got a lot of issues in terms of their body's overstressed at the moment, I would direct them to do yoga exercises. There are different forms of yoga, I appreciate that, but Hatha yoga is a great place to stay, or yin yoga. These are very simple exercises that help to release physical tension in the body and promote mental clarity, so you're very present. So yoga is one thing that you can look at doing if you've not tried that before. Outdoors, getting outside in nature has such a wonderful effect on engaging the body and being more mindful, being more present, being more still, being more calm. 20-minute, 30-minute walk out in the park, in and around the woods, in and around nature, can significantly lower your stress, your cortisol levels. So nature has a very calming effect on the brain. So if you are looking for a simple, cheap and easy way to help to feel more mindful, manage your stress, get outdoors. I can't stress that enough. Another practice that you could do is something like Tai Chi or Qigong. These are ancient practices that combine slow movements. They talk about and get you to practice breath control and meditation and stress reducing movements, helping you to do things like improve your balance and improve your control as well. So there are 3 practices that you can do to engage in mindful movement. Don't think about exercise as just going full tilt, pedal to the metal all the time, going hard at it. We'd want to think about restorative exercises, mindful movement as we call it. And you should look to schedule these in 15 minutes ideally a day. There are lots of different videos that you can see on YouTube showing you about different Tai Chi practices or Qigong. So practice these. These will help you. These will encourage you to be less stressed, more in control when you're engaging in regular mindful movement. As I said, for a lot of the people that I work with, guys who are under pressure, women that are under pressure with their work at home, it's not just about saying, right, I'm going to get you to do more exercise. It's getting you to do the right type of exercise. And engaging in mindful movement, restorative exercise can definitely help and will definitely help you reduce your stress. The goal is not to sweat buckets all the time. That's not what we're here to do. We want you to live longer, but we live longer well with less stress. That's what we're talking about here today. The topic of today is stress less, live more. Yeah, so it's not always about going full tilt. Making sure that we're doing the right balance of intense exercise, but also restorative exercise as well. Okay, number 3, nourish your body and your mind. So what we're talking about here, we know that what you feed your body and your mind matters. Stress depletes natural nutrients in the system like magnesium, vitamin B and omega-3s. So its nutrient-dense diet can help us combat stress more effectively. So if we're feeding ourselves physically with vitamins, minerals, mentally we're going to be more capable as well. So how do we do that? So again, let me say this a million times and I'll forever talk to you about it. Eat whole, natural foods as close to as nature intended them to be. The less ingredients, the best. So we're talking about vegetables, we're talking about fruits, we're talking about lean proteins, certain type of whole grains, and obviously healthy fats. Cut out and reduce significantly those refined sugars, those highly processed snacks, which can spike stress levels and teaching your body to crave those foods. We're trying to avoid that. Number 2, incorporate stress-reducing foods into your diet. So there are certain types of food, natural foods, that can help reduce the amount of stress that you have in your body. So things like magnesium-rich foods like spinach, dark chocolate, almonds, they all have properties, vitamins and minerals in them that will help you to reduce stress in your body. things such as fatty fish like salmon, mackerel. They have excellent sources of omega-3, which are essential to helping you to maintain your good metabolism, good hormone levels, which obviously impact positively on managing the stress. And lastly, we are going to talk about nourish your body and mind. We know what you feed your body and what you feed your mind really counts, really does matter. Stress depletes natural nutrients in our system, such as vitamin B, magnesium, and omega-3s. So a nutrient-dense diet can help combat stress way more effectively. So here's how you can do that. Now, you heard me say this many times before, and I will forever beat this drum, but eat whole, natural, ideally organic foods as close to nature was intended them to be. So we're focusing on vegetables, we're talking about fruits, we're talking about lean proteins, range of whole grains that are suitable for yourself, and obviously healthy fats. Avoid and cut down, eliminate those refined sugars, those highly processed foods, things with lots of ingredients in. These can all spike hormone levels and stress levels, which you don't want. Incorporate stress-reducing foods. Now, certain foods can have a positive impact directly on our stress. So foods that are rich in magnesium, they can have a really positive effect on the way we manage stress. So we're talking about things such as almonds, spinach, even quality dark chocolate can all have a positive effect. Things like fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, excellent sources of omega-3. They're all positive ways that we can have foods in our system that will help us to manage stress much more effectively. And obviously, we need to keep ourselves well hydrated. Drinking 8 to 10 glasses of quality sourced water every single day is key to do in our best to keep ourselves less stressed. You know, for peace of mind, these are nourishing habits that you can start to introduce, if you've not done so already, in your daily diet practices. Now, there are other things that we can do to help us in terms of nourishing our mind and our body, and that is doing things such as journaling. I mentioned that before I go to bed, I like to sometimes journal, read a book, write things down. That really helps me and signals to the body how to switch off. Other things that we can do is meditation. If you've not tried meditation before, that can start helping you to just go inward, have enlightening and self-awareness raising conversations internally that you may not have had before. So that's really good. Looking at how the mind is currently operating. You don't have to start doing full 45-minute meditation sessions. You can start with 5 minutes a day. There are lots of different apps out there. You've seen them, I'm sure, such as Calm and Headspace. They can guide you through and really help you to become more mindful and obviously begin to master meditation techniques. And I often say this, but interestingly, I've started looking at the news just to find out what's going on, because I've spent a long time not paying attention to the news. But if you're unaware of the news, it can be very negative. Now, again, I just watch it now, knowing that I'm not going to allow it to affect me and the way I orientate myself in the world. But for a lot of people, they watch the news and it impacts them negatively. So limit the amount of news that you may be watching currently, because if you're unaware, it's just a program and a program of programs just to keep you in a negative energy space, a negative vibration. So if you're spending a lot of time watching the news, that is not good for your mind, and it's not nourishing your mind in a positive way at all. So limit the amount of time that you spend watching the news. Yes, maybe doping like I've started doing recently to find out what's going on in the world, but to spend countless hours throughout the day watching the news, you know, we know how it operates. It comes on every hour, all the time, or sometimes every half an hour, letting us know all the bad news that's going on in the world. Very rarely do they share positive insights and positive and uplifting, inspiring stories, and that's done for a particular reason. I'm not going to get into that now, but we're trying to get you in practices and developing habits that's going to nourish the mind, which is going to help to nourish the body, going to help you to reduce that stress. Okay, so they are the 3 steps that I'm encouraging you to look to explore, to consider when it comes to stress less and live more. Just spoke about nourishing your mind and body. Key steps that you can take there. Engage in mindful movement. Don't feel that exercise has to be full tilt and hardcore and intense all the time. And first thing we spoke about was prioritative, restorative sleep. Those 3 steps are going to really help you to manage your stress, be more controlled, be more calm. So if you have not tried any of those before, I'm encouraging you to do those. These aren't quick fixes, so they're not something that you're going to do over time. You've often heard me say, change is a process. So they're helping you to upskill and upgrade your lifestyle. That will something that you can introduce over time, and they'll begin to serve you not just for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, but for years to come. When you embed these into your daily practices, I can guarantee that these are things that I've been doing for a period of time now, and as a result, my life is much less stressed. When it comes to stress, we do have to get out of the mindset that we're never going to have stress in our life. Stress is a natural part of life, and if you've heard me speak before on the shows, there are many different forms of stress. Exercise that I encourage you to do is a form of stress. We have thermal stress, we have emotional stress, we have chemical stress. There are many different forms, and when they're dealt with correctly, they can help us evolve and develop and navigate the world in a much more controlled and calmed way. However, if we don't deal with those stresses correctly, that's when they have a negative impact. So these practices, as you begin to implement them into your life, is going to help you to upgrade and going to upskill your ability to manage stress. So when life happens, when things happen, when stressful situations do arise, which they will, life is like that at times, you're in a much more confident position mentally and physically to deal with those. So I trust you found today's episode uplifting and insightful. Remember, you can connect with me on all the social media networks: LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will leave all the links where you can do that in the show notes. So I appreciate you for joining me on today's episode. Remember to leave us a review if you've not done that already, and share this with your connections and your community as we continue to grow the Real Elevation podcast community. All right, that's it for today. Remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, keep it real. Blessings and chi. Peace.